All right, let's talk speed for wrestlers. All right, when I think of speed for wrestlers, I think of the guys or the girls that can uh, shoot lightning fast before the other opponent has a chance to sprawl. Uh, can snatch a wrist, can hit an arm drag, can do things before the opponent has time to respond. Get in on the leg, finish the takedown with blazing fast speed. Okay, the speed problem is multifactorial, just like any other problem you encounter. Uh, and I've broken it down into 4 categories I think are super important, are the most important things to address first. There may be other categories, other smaller issues, but they should all fall under these 4 categories, depending on time spent in wrestling and your experience, because it's going to change from person to person. So with these 4 categories, this template I'm going to show you, you should be able to analyze each athlete and decide where do we need to start. This wrestler seems sluggish. He seems to be beat off the line, doesn't sprawl in time, doesn't connect with any of his shots. How can we make this wrestler faster? Seems to be the issue. Okay. And there may be another issue that's actually more important that you'll find out after I go through these, that it may not actually be speed, maybe something else. Okay, because it's all 4 of these things I'm going to talk about tie into each other. They can't really be separated. Okay, and the first on the list is strength, max strength. How much can you deadlift? How much can you back squat? Okay, how much can you bench? How much can you do body weight pull-ups? Do you have the strength to move? Do you have the strength to move your body weight? Because wrestling's a body weight event. The other guy should be in your weight class. He weighs the same as you. You should be able to move your own body around. You should be able to move his body around. All right. When it comes to speed, if you're lacking strength, you're going to lack speed also. For example, you've been extreme example. Somebody's been in a coma for 3 months. They just get out of bed, can barely walk. You're not going to ask them to run quickly. First, we have to build leg strength, core strength, even shoulder strength to pump the arms. Okay, so you need to understand the difference between maximal strength and speed/speed strength. They're different. They're different stimulus. If you specialize, say you are very strong and you don't understand why you're not fast. Okay, they're 2 different stimulus, and your nervous system fires differently when trying to perform either task. Like, for example, you have a 700-pound deadlift, but you still seem slow off the firing line, slow shots, slow sprints. It's because you haven't provided a fast stimulus to yourself or your athlete. And this leads into number 2, improve acceleration. Okay, and use plyometrics, use explosive training, Olympic lifting, box jumps, move lighter loads at top speed to get used to moving at top speed. You can't just do the heavy lifting by itself and expect to get faster. You also have to implement plyometrics and power training. You have to integrate the 2 into your strength and conditioning program. So these 2, get stronger, improve acceleration, improve your power, are largely improved by strength and conditioning, not by wrestling practice. Okay, you'll get more fit in wrestling practice. You'll learn your skills, but your strength will cap. your speed will cap very quickly. You won't progress very far in speed and strength with just wrestling practice. As opposed to somebody who has integrated strength and conditioning, they're going to be 10 times stronger. And you would be 10 times stronger. Okay, you can wrestle for years and not really see much gains in strength. Okay, where you train strength and conditioning for 1 year and you'll see tenfold gains in strength. You'll be a different athlete on my strength and conditioning for 1 year. The next year you'll be completely different. Your performance on the mat will change drastically. People will want to know what you did. Okay, so get stronger, do power training, plyometrics, ball tosses, ball slams, Olympic lifts, box jumps, speed movements, even doing your normal lifts with a lighter load quickly, like fast deadlifts, fast bench press, fast squats, counts as acceleration training. All right, and we can steal from other sports that have coined some of these training protocols, like from track and field and sprinters and shot putters, in order to improve their speed and strength. Okay, so for example, sprinters use parachutes. They use sleds. They drag sleds to improve acceleration, improve strength. Okay, we can use those techniques also, and that leads to the third one, which is quickness. Think reaction time. Somebody shoots on you. Do you sprawl in time? Do you move your feet quick enough? Doesn't really require any strength or power, but it just requires quickness. All right, that's more of a reaction thing, and you will develop that in practice. Okay, you'll develop that in your sport-specific training, not your what you would call your general physical preparation, which is your strength and conditioning. Like, for example, in your GPP is what they call it, got to focus really hard on your core, specifically the hips, because that's one of the strongest correlates to athletic success. You take the elite, the best in the world at their sport, and it requires any type of speed or power, like football, volleyball, anything, hockey, wrestling, boxing. The best in the world also have very strong hips. And I mean directly, like you can test them. They have a strong deadlift for their sport. They have a strong back squat for their sport. Anything involving the hips, they will do well. Box jumps, okay? Super strong hips. Okay, so that third one, quickness. Like I said, think Muhammad Ali, hand speed, Bruce Lee, hand speed, quick feet, agility drills, line hops, things that don't require any loading. It's just reaction time and quick moving drills. All right, hurdles, cone drills. You can steal from just about any sport that created these drills and integrate it into your wrestling program, and it will transfer to wrestling. Okay, quickness is one of the ones that I would kind of address last. Most of the time, athletes are slow because they're weak. They just don't have enough strength. That's usually the number one issue. Got to get them stronger. And case in point, I think a really good one is Ben Johnson. I think it was Ben Johnson versus Carl Lewis. Might have to check me on those names. I think they were 100-meter sprinters in the Olympics in the 80s and 90s. And they were rivals. And Carl Lewis always won, the U.S. sprinter versus the Canadian sprinter Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson upset Carl Lewis one year, won Olympics. But he also was flagged for steroids. And it's still a good story because he took steroids in order to up his back squat. The steroids didn't just magically make him faster. He had to take the steroids to take his back squat from 450 to 600. His strength went up, and then his power went up with it, and his speed went up with it. You're capped by your strength. You can't be any faster than your strength allows you to be. There's a minimal requirement. If you want to be this fast, you have to have at least this much strength. And we have benchmarks for that. It's a good idea to be able to back squat 2 times your weight, deadlift 2.5 times your weight, bench press 1.5 to 2 times your body weight, do 20 pull-ups in a row unbroken. There's all kinds of benchmarks for that. And if you can't hit these, then your speed in that category is going to suffer. If you can't do pull-ups, your pulling speed is going to be slow. You're not going to be able to pull a wrestler to you quickly. You're not going to be able to yank a leg off the ground. You're not going to be able to toss him under the ground fast. Okay, you're going to be sluggish on your takedowns. You're not going to have snappy head snaps. If your pulling strength is weak. Okay, if your pushing strength is weak, you struggle to do push-ups, how fast is your stand-up going to be? You get smashed on the ground, are you going to be able to build your base quickly and get right back to your feet? Bounce off the ground, essentially? Hit a bouncing burpee after somebody takes you down? No, you're going to be sluggish because you have a hard time pushing around your own body weight. You don't have the strength. All right, so third one was quickness. That one you don't have to worry about specializing in drills in your additional strength and conditioning program. You'll get that from your sports practice. Say you play tennis, you'll get your quickness from your tennis drills. Okay, you'll get your quickness from your wrestling drills. All right, and going live in wrestling. Economy of motion is number 4. This is a big one. This one is often overlooked. Okay, and it reminds me of the scene in Matrix where Neo tells Morpheus he's really fast because they just did a kung fu sparring match after Neo downloaded kung fu into his brain, and then they spar in the simulation. And Neo's like, wow, you're fast. And Morpheus says, do you think it has anything to do with the speed of my muscles? And a lot of times it doesn't. It doesn't have anything to do with necessarily the speed. That's a part of it. Your quickness, your acceleration, your strength. They all come together. But if you don't have economy of motion, then you're wasting all these tools. You're wasting your strength and your quickness. A common mistake I see with beginning wrestlers, and we were just addressing this last night, is they go to hit a sweep single, and instead of going straight from A to B to the other wrestler's leg, they start circling before they get there. Okay, the legs here, and you start circling around his legs before you get there, and then try to close in. Well, those few extra steps you just took is wasted motion. It's going to give him time to respond. It's going to make you look slow. Are you actually slow? No, you just threw in extra steps. And that's the art of mastery when it comes to physical activities, is taking away until you can't take away anymore. Okay, can I refine this movement down to the bare necessities? Then it will be the best movement you can do. It'll be a work of art. Okay, so when you do the sweep single, you snap the head, go straight to the leg. From his head to the leg, one jab step, and you're on his leg, and then you're finishing like lightning. Okay. Think an easier example, I think, is striking, is boxing. Okay. If I'm boxing, I'm going from my face to your face, no extra movement. I'm trying to refine this. I'm just driving it right into you. Okay, don't pull back and then throw. That's not economy of motion. Okay. The mechanics that I would teach you in a strength and conditioning program would transfer to your wrestling, your tennis, whatever athlete you are, because I'm also teaching you economy of motion. How to pick things up with economy of motion. How to push things, how to pull things without doing anything, without wasting any energy or movement or losing leverage. That's what often happens when you do extra movement. You lose efficiency and you also lose leverage. Okay, you lose torque when you add things that you don't need. All right. So economy of motion will increase speed. It increases everything that you do. Increases your torque, increases your leverage, makes you move with precision and accuracy, which will give the illusion that your muscles contract faster when they may not. They may not actually. They don't have to contract faster. You can move faster if you improve your skills, your technique. Okay, so economy of motion is the skills category. In order to improve economy of motion, you got to do the boring part. You got to go through the motions over and over again until your body doesn't know how to add the extra motion, till you've worked it out of your system, your nervous system. Your nervous system has to remap this and get rid of this. Okay, you got to do it over and over again. Like for example, with Olympic weightlifting, we often start with a PVC pipe or a broomstick, and I want you to go through the motion over and over again until you've got it mapped. Then we'll start adding some weight to it. Okay, or start with an empty barbell. So you got to take time, and that goes into economy of motion, practice your skills. That doesn't require any intensity when you're practicing skills. That's the boring part. There's like 3 phases of human performance, human preparation. Okay, which is practice, training, and competition. 3 different modes you could think about. Are you practicing? Then you're just working on skills. You're working on your economy of motion. Are you training? Now you're working on getting stronger and you're working on the power and the quickness. Okay? And then you're competing. Competing, you can do this, you're talking about in a tournament, but you can also compete in practice when you go live. Okay? So in a tournament, all bets are off. You just do what you got to do to win. You take risks, and practice when you go live. That's the biggest difference. Don't take risks. Go as hard as you can, but if there's a dangerous position, you stop. All right, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole discussing the difference between practice, training, and competition. Because often you find yourself competing too much when you should be practicing or training. And you compete yourself out of shape and you lose speed, okay? Because you lose skills and you lose economy of motion. All right, so to recap, you've got a multifactorial equation when you're trying to make an athlete faster and trying to make yourself faster. You got to analyze your strength. You got to analyze your acceleration, okay, your power. You got to analyze your quickness and your skills, your economy of motion, those 4 categories. Okay, if you guys have any questions, that's a huge overview. Each one of those is a deep rabbit hole. So please feel free to ask me questions if you want me to elaborate more, give you ideas. I'll try to put some more PDFs down below for sample workouts and explanations that you can throw in your toolbox.